Take a look at what the cat drug home again. I can't seem to say no. Yesterday we went on a real adventure, drove down to Seattle with the car hauling trailer and hauled this 1972 280 SE 4.5 back to Bellingham. It was quite a trip. You know, the traffic was terrible, and it's always fun trying to tow a car trailer in the middle of rush hour traffic in Seattle. But we got back safely, and the first goal is to do some preliminary inspections. This is a little bit different because this is a D-Jetronic electronic fuel injected engine. These were the V8s from 1970 up to 1975 that had this type of fuel injection, and you'll recognize it by a common rail going to all the injectors, and then you got all these rubber hoses. And that's where the danger lies in these engines. When you pick up one of these D-Jetronic V8s, the first thing you want to do is attend to these right here. The first thing we did was we drained the old fuel out, but when we pulled the tank screen, there was no fuel in the tank. I thought, oh, well, let's just put some fuel in. This is the hose that's underneath the car and started pouring out. Look at that. Now that's just an example. You've got a really bad looking hose here that's the inlet hose coming from the fuel tank. All these hoses on here are rotten. I've done videos on this before. Of course, you want to do a compression check, and that's what I would like to do, but I'd at least like to run the engine a little bit before I do the compression test to get an accurate reading. It's got the engine running. Just briefly, I didn't even want to video it because I don't want to run this thing very long with the fuel situation. It's running way too rich. I've got too much fuel pumping into this engine, so I just shut it off. And I want to demonstrate how you know that. Look at this oil right here. See how thin that is? It's almost like water. So this thing is way overfueling, and if you smell it, it smells like gasoline. It doesn't smell like engine oil. So we need to address this issue before we run the engine anymore, and that's going to mean getting rid of these old fuel injectors. Now people say, why do you have to buy new fuel injectors? They're only 52 years old or whatever. I think we got some of these that are probably stuck open and just totally fueling straight into the intake. Okay, this is the next step. We're going to do a compression test. I'm going to follow my own advice before I spend any more time on this engine or money. We're going to find out if it has enough compression to be worth saving. I'm just going to do a quick compression test here. It's not going to be very accurate anyway because we've got cylinders that are washed down with gasoline. So I just want to make sure every cylinder has compression at least 120. You know, if we're down to 100 or less, then we've got a major problem. But I think I do this quick test. All I have to do is hold it. I don't have to take the time to screw each one in. We're going to push this down here and hold it tight on the hole. And then we're going to crank it over 5 times. Okay, go ahead. Okay, that one hit 150. Now let's try one on the other side. You know, I forgot to mention this. And this is very important, but if you're doing a compression test on these old V8s, you cannot have the fuel pump running. Now, there's no relay on these old 108s. There's a fuse, number 4 fuse in the fuse box. Below the dash, just left of the steering wheel, is the fuse box. You have to pull number 4. Now we have no pump running, and that's very important. So now we're going to take and we're going to look at number 3 over on this side. So I'm just doing a spot check on each bank. All right, go ahead and crank. Okay, 145. That's pretty good, considering that we have a situation where we've got, you know, probably not a good oil seal on the piston rings. So I'll go ahead and do the other 6, and then I'll report back if we've got any problems. All right, this is the last one. Oh, look at that, almost up to 150. So this is good news, really. We have, the lowest one was about 138 all the way up to 150. So we have acceptable compression to continue on with the work on this engine. And now we're going to pull the fuel rails, we're going to pull all the fuel lines, and we're going to remove these old injectors. You have to see this before we start. I call this the D-Jetronic Revival Kit. And this one is specifically for the 4.5. You see these blue-green tops. The 3.5 had yellow tops. So I have brand new fuel injectors with brand new seals. And here are the new clamps. I've got all new spark plugs. We've got new valve cover gaskets. We got the sealing rings for the valve cover gasket bolts. And we have new oiler clips. Now, why just new oiler clips? Well, I'm going to pull these valve covers. You usually have to replace these oiler clips because they're so bad. You can wait on the timing chain. And then finally, there's this fuel pressure tester. When you install all this, you have to do a fuel system pressure test, and we may have to replace the fuel delivery system at the back end. But right now it's working. We're going to leave it at that. There's one thing I'm not showing that's extremely important. This is what I forgot to put on top of the cart here, and this is probably one of the most important things because you saw in the earlier scene how many of the fuel hoses are rotten, but this is very special fuel hose. Do not use standard fuel hose when working with the D-Jetronic fuel injection system. This is 300 PSI and it's heavily braided along with enough stainless steel. Use stainless steel clamps to replace every fuel hose in that engine compartment. I need to mention that all of this is available on my website. In preparation here, you can see we covered the intake up and went in here with compressed air. You want to make sure all this area is clean before you pull these injectors. And we just cut some of these hoses. We're going to pull the injectors out with the rails. The hoses were so hard, trying to get them off is a waste. Just cut them, release this front section here, and then we can just lift these out. Just wiggle them, and everything will come out together. Now, I do have a tester that will allow you to test these injectors, but when they're this old, I found that by the time you go to all that work to test them, just replace them with the set I offer on my website. Very reasonably priced, and you'll know you have good injectors, because even if these old ones test okay, that doesn't mean in 3 months they're not going to stop firing. During the compression test, I also like to take a look at the spark plugs. You can see a couple of them are not burning too badly. They look like they're burning rich, maybe a little bit of oil fouling. That should be expected with thin oil. But those don't look too bad. In fact, they look like they've been replaced at some point. So we'll move on to the next thing, and that's going to be pulling a valve cover, and let's look at the valve train. So this is just going to be a quick check here to make sure that we don't have excessive chain stretch. Right here, that's our key. Will it lift off? If it lifts off at the high point here, you have excessive chain stretch. But look at how tight that is. Look at how tight that is. So that's a real good sign. Now you're going to get to see why I include the oiler clips in this deluxe kit. Now, I've told you before, I've pulled valve covers and I've seen these laying off to the side here. And of course, these are what oil not only the cam lobes, they oil the towers and the bearings right here. So without any back pressure through the tube, you're going to lose some oiling through this hole. You'll just ruin the camshaft. So we're going to replace the clips. We're going to take a look around here, and then we'll be able to put the valve covers back on. Let me show you what the valve cover looks like. This is a shock. Look at how clean that is. Maybe it's just been the gasoline washed down. Who knows? But this is what we're looking for here. You saw my previous series on that 450 SEL. It actually had marks. So this is a real good sign. We don't have excessive mileage on this engine because we don't have any scoring right here from chain slap. I know when we get these valve covers back on the engine, somebody's going to ask me, hey Ken, how did you get those valve covers looking so nice? Well, it's a little bit challenging on this aluminum. You want to use a very mild acid. You're not going to get them clean by just scrubbing on them. You don't want to polish them. If you polish it, it doesn't look original. So what I've learned to use over the years is this right here, Easy Off. Use the heavy duty oven cleaner and Scotch-Brite pads. You just lay this on there. This has a very fine acid. Just put it on thick enough that it starts to foam. And we're going to let it wait a little bit to kind of eat in to the aluminum. You can't leave this on a long time, but with a Scotch-Brite pad, I'll come in here and start scrubbing it. You can spend so much time getting this perfect, and I'm not going to do that today. We're just going to get these cleaned up looking better than they were. And if I wipe this off, you can see the improvement I'm making already. So if I just give it a little bit more Scotch-Brite and then wipe it off again, and I'll immediately want to neutralize it. But that's kind of the look you want. Shiny, dull, genuine aluminum. All right. This isn't going to get loose anymore. Look at these new oiler clips are in. We've cleaned the valve cover and the new gasket is installed. We're going to slip this on. You have to make sure when you put this on that you don't knock this valve cover gasket loose. It will roll on you and then you'll have leaks. We're going to kind of set it down in there, and what I do is I kind of feel it. See this? And if it's not on all the way around, it won't slide back and forth. Now, installing the bolts, there's a couple things that are critical. Number one, these bolts for the valve covers have a small copper crush washer. And you can notice they don't get changed very often. I think these have probably been off and back on. You want to make sure that you install new ones and you put the split side down towards the head. And these are the new sealing rings that we include in our kits. This is the next thing that's very important, is alignment. You want to get all bolts dropped in place, and then we're just going to run them in finger tight. If they don't start, then you are not in alignment. Now, I'm not going to tighten them down. I'm going to just bring them down to where they touch. Notice how easily they're going in, and that's what you want. You shouldn't have to fight them in. Now, this is the critical part, is moving the valve cover until it's centered in the extreme points of movement. So you move it forward, back. Okay, we're going to kind of center it up and down. We'll kind of, so it's floating right there. I'm going to hold it down. Then I'll just tighten these as much as I can by hand. And then I'll get the wrench. And this is my preferred method. I just give these a nice snug tweak. Don't worry about torque. You're not going to get accurate torque from crushable rubber gaskets and copper sealing rings. And I will start the engine and run it a little bit, get it warm, and then I will come back and give these another tweak. You're not reefing on them, you're tightening them down and maybe giving them, just less than you would a spark plug. Well, here's a teaching moment. For those of you who think you're going to go out and pick up one of these old cars and drive it home, or even if you get it home and want to run the engine a bunch, you don't. You want to change the oil. Because almost every time you'll find these old engines full of gasoline. Look at how thin this oil is. So we're going to change the oil. We'll do an initial change, then we'll come back and do it again after we drive the car 500 miles. But we're just putting 20 W50 in it for right now. Heavyweight oil, good quality oil. And we're getting ready to put the injectors back in. Maybe we'll even get this fired up today. Doesn't that look nice? Look at that. We got those new injectors installed in the rail on the right side here. You can see we had to cut the length to match the length of the old injectors. If you look now at all that stuff we pulled out, it's all rotten. The seals are rotten. The hoses to the old injectors are rotten. So we're ready to install this. We've got 2 lengths of hoses in place and loose. We're going to set this in place, and we're not going to bolt it down. We're just going to install the injectors. We have the lower seals in the cylinder heads, and we're going to push this down, and we'll leave everything loose here until we get the rest of these hose lengths cut and make sure that everything's lined up before we actually install the bolts and tighten down on these injector holders. If you just scan over the hose clamps, you can see how many hoses we had to replace, how many points of leaks you can get out of these D-Jetronic engines. So we went back and double checked every single clamp, and I do want to warn you, if you're replacing the hoses on a D-Jet engine, there's another hose that gets forgotten because it is right down here. It goes underneath the power steering pump. It goes up into this metal Y, and you don't realize that's that's the pressure inlet hose right there. You got to make sure you get underneath there. It's not easy to change, but that hose has to be changed, okay? And then it looks like we're ready to fire this up, but there's one last thing that we have to check over here on the right side. We have to make sure we have enough washer fluid in here before we crank it over. Now we're going to attempt to start this with great anticipation. I'm going to give it a few squirts of starting fluid just to help it out, because we've got an entire system here that's void of fuel. All right, give it a crank. Woohoo! Not bad. Coming out of storage since 2011. How's that for a day's work?